The longevity of Anyone But Me has been incredible and surprising that 10 years later we still have people discovering the show. I mean, I think that's the most surprising thing, you know. Our fan base, all of you guys out there, are like so amazingly loyal and passionate about the show, and like I every time I interact with any of you online or in person and talk about Anyone But Me and its impact, it makes me feel giddy all over again. And in some ways, I'm not surprised that 10 years later, people are still watching it and loving it, because I think it had such a special place and came at a time that was really seminal for a lot of people when there wasn't a lot of content like Anyone But Me on the web or elsewhere. And I'm so glad that we were able to provide that for people who wanted and needed it. And I feel so lucky that we got to be one of the first ones. I think it did solidify sort of Anyone But Me in like the canon of queer shows. And I love that people are still discovering it. That is like surprising and amazing and wonderful, and I hope it just keeps happening forever.
We went down to Battery Park. And on December 8th, 2008, Anyone But Me launched on Strike TV and Into the World, becoming must-see web TV for the next 5 years during its 3-season run. The show took off quickly thanks to attention in the press and a fan base always eager for more. We even racked up a couple of awards. And 10 years and 60 million views later, we're taking a look back at the web series that brought diverse characters to the forefront, influenced the world of web series like never before, and continues, even today, to impact the lives of fans all around the world.
When I first began watching Anyone But Me 10 years ago, I was 14 years old and just beginning to accept that I liked girls. I was immediately captivated. For the first time, I felt like I could see myself in the story that was playing out on screen, and I was hooked. To my delight, I discovered that the cast and crew were super active on Twitter and really willing to engage with fans. This connectedness nurtured what ultimately became so much more than just a show. It was a community, and through it I have found joy and hope and acceptance, mentorship and friendships that I cherish so, so very much. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
In March of 2008, Anyone But Me found its cast. And in April, we started shooting promos for the series that touched on the themes of the show, and also one of the inspirations for the series, living in New York after the tragedy of 9/11. Something happened.
To all of us.
But what does it mean? Isn't it supposed to mean something?
It's just a part of our lives.
You know that freaking announcement on the subway? If you see something, say something.
I still think about it.
Who wants to live like that?
How many essays do we have to write about how we feel?
How am I supposed to feel?
Other people who live other places. That's what it's like for them all the time.
Something happened, and tomorrow something else could happen. So what do we do? Later that summer, Anyone But Me began production on its first 2 episodes.
My first day on set of Anyone But Me. We shot outside my apartment. It was the stoop scene where Vivian and Gabe were packing up and leaving. I certainly remember being super excited about it. And, so I just didn't want any big troubles to happen. There was very few of us, and I just wanted it to go really well, and I wanted everybody to walk away feeling good about it, especially if we're going to make more episodes. So I think that's what I remember most about that first day.
I'm trying to think when it really hit me that Anyone But Me was getting traction, both with fans and with critics. I mean, endless Streamy Awards and Writers Guild Awards and Best Actor Awards. So that was very exciting. But I think the impact that really meant something to me was when I would hear we would be getting fan letters from a girl in Afghanistan or a girl in South Carolina saying, these characters are my only friends. And that kind of impact to me, I feel like anything else I do in life after this is extra credit, because I got to, move the needle a little bit towards equality and love and helping people feel less alone in the world.
I sat down with my castmates to talk about the show that changed our lives, and also just to laugh at all the things we may have forgotten about our time together on Anyone But Me. Happy 10 years.
Happy 10 years. Oh my gosh. Every time I say it, it makes me feel old, but
It's
also
hard.
it's difficult, but also it's like the happiest thing too that we've had this kind of longevity.
I feel like it's been a good 10 years.
It's been a decent 10 years.
So let's go back to the beginning.
Yes.
All right. Battery Park?
Oh my God. Okay, so what I remember at Battery Park most distinctly is just throwing blankets over the cameras. Because at that point we were shooting Slums Permit, because those are
Guerrilla style filmmaking?
Guerrilla style
Guerrilla
filmmaking.
style filmmaking.
For those of
Okay.
you who are not filmmakers, you do have to get permits to be able to shoot outside in cities, and they're not always cheap. And we were on a budget, so
We were
brought
new.
some blankets to throw at the cameras so that it looked like we were just having
And
a
we
little
would
picnic.
Yeah. We would have very casual conversations as various police officers would stroll by. And
Yes.
we'd say, yeah, hi. Yeah. And we were just getting to know each other. Was that our first day?
Oh my God, was that the
Was
first
that the end of
day?
our first day?
I don't even remember. All I remember was being very excited.
Yes.
That I do remember.
What was your first, what was the first scene? The first scene we had together was when when I was leaving, right?
In front
moving scene.
of your house.
It was Tina's
Your
house.
And it was Tina's house.
It was Tina's
yes.
house.
In Queens.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was the first. And what I remember so distinctly about that is that both of us had come from theater, right? And this was my first professional thing on camera other than, student films and whatever. And I was frozen. I was like, okay, can I move here? Can I move? And I watch it back now, that scene, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stiff. Because I was just terrified of doing too much with my face or too much with my body. So I was super duper in my head. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I was just the actor in me was oh my God, film, what is this?
I had the exact opposite experience
Really?
where I was just I'm not gonna care. And so I was just doing all of these sort of big theatrical things. And I saw the edit and I was oh no. It was really bad.
So basically we needed to split the difference between the two of
Yes.
us. Yeah.
I think we got there eventually.
We did. No. It's actually really fun to watch, certainly the first season, but into the second season and see how much more comfortable you and I are, not just with each other and in the characters, because of course that just happens with everybody in any show.
Right.
But just with the cameras, with the whole experience of being there. It became an old hat at some point in the best of ways.
It was very, and I know that it's kind of weird to say comfortable, because I feel like that's not generally what you try to go for, when you're doing something new. But it felt safe.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It felt like a safe space where we could sort of figure out new ways to interact with each other and feel okay doing that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I didn't feel nearly as much self-consciousness as I did at the beginning.
That's what
for
it
sure.
was.
For sure. Yeah.
I remember when I first realized that Anyone But Me was becoming something bigger than I thought it would be. I was at my day job. I was a secretary at a company downtown called Blue Lime. They're wonderful. They're still wonderful. I was doing Girl Friday stuff, secretarial stuff, and I got an email from, I guess, probably Tina, saying, hey, we're on the cover of the Philadelphia Gay News, which I think is a freebie newspaper. And I was oh my God. And I totally freaked out. And I had no one to tell at my job. So I told my boss at my job, and I think she was talking to a client at the time. And I was Penny, I'm on the cover of the Philadelphia Gay News. And she was that's great. She went with it, which was lovely.
We also went on the road to promote the series and meet our many dedicated fans. We started in Provincetown, one of our first promotional tours for the series, and we ended in London to celebrate the end of the series and our DVD release.
you know, the life of Anyone But Me and how it attracted audiences, and you know, it's a journey. When Tina and I saw that we had, when we launched it, and we saw how many views we had, we were thrilled. It was 500. Right now that would be like, 500. Okay. We thought, we didn't even know 500 people were going to watch the show. So as that grew, and it didn't just grow on its own, of course. I mean, we had to reach out to journalists and, you know, I don't know if we called them influencers 10 years ago, but yes, influencers, people who were going to pass the word on, you know, and really start to listen to fans. But, you know, who knew what was going to happen 2 episodes later or down the line in terms of how many views we'd get. I mean, because we weren't consciously thinking about that, we just wanted to put out a good show. It was a very happy outcome.
Anyone But Me was invited by Klexicon to kick off our anniversary year. And as always, the fans showed up to support.
When I think about Anyone But Me, it tells a story of somebody that learned how to connect with the people that she knew when she didn't know who she was, with now when she did know who she was and she knew her truth and she knew how she wanted to live her life and how she wanted to love and how she chose to spend her life. And, you know, I think that's one thing that's always like frightened me over the years, because I felt like when I left the small town when I was younger that I left it behind, and I had to leave it behind because I never felt that I could be the person I wanted to be and still maintain those relationships and still have that connection. So Anyone But Me kind of inspired me to reach out to people I went to high school with over the last 5 to 10 years and start the dialogue again and have a conversation and show them who I am now. And it made me comfortable and feel and know that I don't have to separate the two. It doesn't have to be, you know, the Kim from, you know, the high school years being different than the Kim that I am now, who has a wife and 2 children and, you know, it's in that being gay is a part of who I am, but it isn't the only thing I am. So I think I know that's one thing that Anyone But Me taught me, which is be brave, and you can close that gap and you can maintain those relationships, and it makes it even richer and better with the people that really do care and really do matter. And that's something that really resonated with me. And on top of that, I had the opportunity to meet the actresses and the creator this year at a con, and just, you know, I want to thank you all for the work you've done for the community, and the fact that even 10 years later, you all still promote this show and are as proud of it as you were back then. So congratulations.
Reunited.
Hi, Barb.
Hi. Hi, Rachel.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Is that right?
It is true, though, when I see you, I have to think twice. Is Rachel?
No, immediately I'm like, Aunt Jodie. No, Barb.
There's something about being Aunt Jodie. It feels wrong to say Jodie.
Oh, no, it's Aunt Jodie. There is no way she's just Jodie.
I know. She's Aunt Jodie.
I loved just that scene. So the scene where Vivian comes out to Aunt Jodie, and like your very hopeful and like game reactions before you actually realize what's going on.
Yeah, it's like you can tell me anything.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about being your aunt. Yeah.
It was so beautifully, like, just beautiful comic sparkles right there, where it's just like, it's wonderful, and then you just see the trajectory happen.
Is that an actual letter? Like the kind you get in the mail?
Sort of.
I'm so impressed. Do you need a stamp? I don't even know if I have any stamps.
That's okay.
I miss mail. I would love to get a real letter again.
Well, actually, this is sort of for you.
Uh-oh. What secret teenage code did I violate this time?
You didn't do anything. It's just some things are easier to write than to say.
Viv, you can tell me anything. That's one of the perks of not being your mother. I don't have to take the blame or the credit for whatever it is.
Shit, man. Okay. So, you know Aster.
I'm starting to. I mean, she's here all the time.
The thing is, we're not friends.
Did you have a fight? I can't believe two people as close as you would stop being friends.
We were never friends.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're more than that.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
It's special. You have something special, I see that.
I'm gay. We're gay. We're gay together. You're weirded. I'm so weirding you out.
Why did you decide to tell me this now?
You know that comic strip I'm writing with Arch? Well, there's this girl reporter character in it who tries to get people to come clean about who they really are. So I can't go around pretending I'm not who I am when this character who's going to be a lesbian is pretty obviously based on me. And I want you to read it, Aunt Jodie, because you're a great editor and I really think that you can help me, but I didn't want you to find out that way.
I appreciate that.
So, are you okay with it?
I will be.
Do you know how long that's going to take?
Aunt Jodie, like how clueless, right?
I
Like,
know.
I can see you have something special.
Sure.
Anyone can see that.
I had a best friend too.
Exactly. It did make you wonder about Aunt Jodie a little bit.
What do you think was Aunt Jodie? Did Aunt Jodie have a secret?
Okay, so like not related to the series.
Sure.
You know, her secret is that she's writing a very steamy romance novel, but under a fake
got a
name
pseudonym.
because she's a serious person in publishing.
Yes.
But like that's where she gets out all of her,
Nice.
longings and stuff. But then the secret more related to the show, of course, is that if we had continued to shoot, that maybe she and Gabe would have had.
Do you think it would have worked?
Who knows?
I
'Cause
mean,
Gabe was a little shut down in some ways.
he had a lot going on.
He had a lot going on.
Yeah. But then that would have been like, yeah, I always wondered where that would have gone because
Yeah.
like you two did have such wonderful chemistry together. Like I loved watching your scenes. And so it would have been fun, but also would have been like, from a logical point of view, it
might have been a little icky for
very
Vivian.
problematic from Vivian.
We had a great rapport from the jump, which I think
we did.
Was great. Just the comfort that they had to exhibit with each other in that first scene on the steps.
Yeah.
Like it worked. Like we both sort of were relaxed with each other.
Yeah.
Which I think is exactly what that needed to sort of establish the tone.
Yeah, I agree. And it was so different, I feel like, from most teen dramas where it's sort of like the drama's with the parents and the parents never on their side. But that was what I loved about our relationship.
Everything will be fine, Viv. These are your best years, huh?
He also said these are the worst of times.
Westchester is not that far,
Yeah, I know. Just not here.
I think with Gabe being a New York City firefighter, you sort of have some preconceptions about somebody like that not being that accepting. And so I loved that process had already happened before the show even began. Like their relationship was already in a good place. He'd already accepted this fact about his daughter, already accepted her girlfriend. I thought that was so wonderful to be able to play, but then also to have as just part of the given facts for the web series. and to have that as sort of a gift to the audience for, who maybe didn't have parents who were that supportive. Like, it was just a cool element in the mix, and I enjoyed having the opportunity to play that.
And the thing that made me fall in love with Anyone But Me was that they showed what happened after. And you discover your sexuality, and you found someone you love, and you had to make it work. And it showed me a lot of things that I didn't know that I needed to know. And it was really important to make me understand a lot of things and accept myself in a lot of ways. And it was really fun to watch. And I love it to this day. And I am very thankful to everyone that was a part of it, because it really did affect my life. And I love all of you to this day, and I always will. Thank you.
The kiss.
Yes.
The kiss within the seagull.
Yes.
That would not have happened on its own.
No.
That's when art really brings itself to you and says, here's something you might want to do. I'll allow it to happen in this very safe
particular
place.
context, yes.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. One of the more horrifying experiences on this show.
Yeah.
It was. But there was a moment, I don't know why we were all in the same place. Oh yeah, it was the train station. We were in a train station, and we were having a scene together, and then, but anyway, it was off camera, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You and
me,
Nicole,
yes,
apparently compared notes about.
Well, yeah, there's this video of that, which is really embarrassing now.
Yes, it is.
Because, but we're not comparing. I hadn't yet kissed you.
No?
I don't think so. I think I'm.
No, I think you had, because it was when Nicole came back from California. It was when Aster had come back from California.
Okay, tell me what happened.
All right, this is my memory of what happened.
Okay.
All right. For some reason, I don't know why we were there, but it was a surprise that Aster was at the train station, and and I think it was she was coming back from California, and so. And she went to California, I think, because we kissed.
Right.
So that means if she was coming back and that was where we were filming, we must have already kissed.
Unless we were filming out of order.
No, we only shoot sequentially always. It's different seasons.
Okay, so Nicole and I, so what did we say in this video?
I think that you were just I think that you had consulted her beforehand.
I had consulted her beforehand. Okay. For sure. Yeah, and so I guess we're just talking about that. And that's what's embarrassing. What is embarrassing to me is that, and kind of just wild for me to think about, is that I was nervous about kissing a girl because I didn't know how it was gonna be. I was unsure about where I was gonna put my hand, which to me now I'm that's insane. It's a human.
Yes.
You just kiss a human, and it's kind of just as stressful one way or the other, really.
Yes.
But yeah, I brought it up with Nicole. I think also the other thing is that I was intimidated by the chemistry and connection that you guys had built up for so long, and how easy it was. You guys were just making out all the time.
I mean, look, Nicole just makes out with anyone with a mouth.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
I think if I had to kiss Nicole, that would be a lot easier, because I'd be you just
she's
take
taking over. It's fine.
You do it. I'll be here to be a part of it.
That's basically how the entire thing was for me. So
Right.
it's do I have to memorize some lines? Okay, and then Nicole kisses. Great. That's fine.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Was it weird? I remember one of the things that you were unsure of was you tend not to be the taller person in a kiss. How did
that's
that work
what it
out
was.
for you?
Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. It's so basic.
It's not. I find it very strange being the taller. Like, when I have to kiss Nicole, I'm like, I feel gangly and like...
You were the taller one between you and Nicole.
I know.
God,
It's
you guys are so...
I know.
And I'm like a foot taller than both of you.
I know. So like...
Yeah, I mean, I think that ultimately it didn't really matter. It didn't really play any part in... But, you know.
Yeah, it felt appropriate.
Yeah, it felt right.
It felt right.
It felt like they needed it.
I agree. What exactly are we doing?
Not a clue.
Viv, how do you feel about playing Trigorn?
I think I can channel the man in me.
Soph, can you read my part, Nina, so I can see what it looks like?
What's the play about, anyway?
A young girl in love with an older man, and a teenage boy who kills himself over it. Anytime you're ready.
Tomorrow I'll be gone from here. I'm leaving everything. I'm starting a new life. I'm going to Moscow, too, like you. We'll see each other there.
You're so beautiful. It makes me so happy knowing that I can look into those wonderful eyes, that inexpressibly sweet smile, this lovely face.
Come on, aren't you gonna kiss her?
Haha.
It's in the script.
Yeah, didn't you share that Willow underwear or something? What's a little making out?
Wasn't cool, dude.
No, really, we need the kiss to adjust the light. Okay, at least just move a little bit closer.
Take the last line again, please.
That inexplicably sweet smile, this lovely face, like an angel's.
Sophie, that's your cue.
Need someone to show you how it's done?
So Archibald, what do you think happened to him in the world of the show?
Oh my gosh. I think that he got stressed out and stayed home. He had like a very long stretch of sick days. His mom must have run out of excuses.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It was bizarre.
I feel like he was so uncomfortable with what the principal was asking him to do that he was just like, I have to transfer schools.
Yeah, which was also just intense.
That was a lot. Like,
oh my gosh.
What a jerk that principal was.
Yeah, and for such a sweet boy as Archibald.
Nice.
Archibald's temperament and character was just so tender and
he was just trying
genuinely
to be himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was it was just interesting for him to be sort of like, I feel like, the soothing spirit for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I felt like that's what he was for me, and I feel like he was that for you too.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like he kind of played that role really well.
Yes. Well, that's who Josh. I mean, Josh was like this super chill dude.
Yeah,
He was
that's
like,
true. It was
wow,
very true who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the while having so much going on within himself, which is what's so sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like from the outside and the audience watching could see, oh my gosh, Arch is going through a lot himself.
Yeah.
But he still was such a great friend
He was
to
like
our
this-
characters.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know?
Very like a pillar of strength type thing.
Yeah.
You know, I love that scene. Outside of the public theater, I think is the finale of season 1.
Yeah.
And first of all, I love your chemistry, the two of you.
Thank you.
But like that was lovely and very beautiful, and we'll talk about that. But like, I love your performance in that. Like, I love just that feeling of like, I totally screwed up that audition, and like having your world sort of implode in that very particular way that I feel like happens when you screw up an audition.
Absolutely, which we can relate to.
Yeah.
And then there he was, like,
Yes.
like my knight in shining armor, just to sort of catch me,
Mhm.
you know. I think it was, I came running out of the door,
Ah.
very upset, and there he was, just there.
Don't try to tell me I was good. I wasn't. I bombed. I sucked up all the air in the theater. I totally blow.
Hey.
And I don't know what you're doing here, but don't try to be my hero.
Can you just let me be your friend?
The fantasy episode.
Oh my god. Well, that's all you, girl.
No, I just remember, oh god, I was engaged at the time.
Oh my god, yeah. Rachael was.
Different human being. And I was sort of in denial about a lot of things. And
weren't we all?
Yes. And so that was at the time, and I remember the makeup artist and we had those dresses, and they were like, "You're engaged. What do you want to do with your wedding?" And I was like, "Oh no, I can't have this conversation." And so I was just like, "Just do whatever you want." And like standing up there in like the full regalia with you was a very unexpectedly emotional experience.
You were very emotional. She was so emotional. I was like, oh my. And then she was making me emotional because you were so emotional.
Because you're a sympathetic crier.
I'm a sympathetic crier. That's so true. Oh my god, I was like, are you all right?
I was like, no, I'm not okay.
Meanwhile, like, I could not have been further away from that point in my life, so I was just like, are you okay?
The answer was no. Like, there was a lot happening at that moment, too.
Are you ready, baby? Vivian McMillan, will you marry me?
Awesome. Wait, is this your fantasy or mine?
Does it matter?
No.
Could I love you any more than I do right now?
Hey, dudes, bring it down a notch. Two girls can't marry each other.
By the time we're old enough, we can.
Yes, they can. Yes, we 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 can.
So will you?
Totally.
Yeah, but God, I do remember it being like, wow, this is a real thing. Like, I was legit nervous standing and like holding your hands and being like, whoo!
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I know you were having a whole
That
other
was a whole that was a whole experience that was happening.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then there was the boob thing in the bathroom.
Oh, the boob thing in the
boob
bathroom.
thing in the bathroom.
All right. So this is what happened. We had been shooting Anyone But Me for, I would say, at least a year and a half at this point. And I was playing a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian in real life. And like, it was like a light bulb went off because we had the makeout scene in the bathroom, and like we took a break in the middle of that scene because I don't know, they had to reset the camera or something, and like something happened where I was like, oh, you have boobs. And, like, I don't know how it took me this long. Yes, you do. They're lovely.
Oh, thanks.
They're lovely. But like, I don't know how it took me that long to like figure out that like that was a reality of that situation. And
the
like,
boob touching would probably happen in that.
it was like the best idea I had ever had as an actor ever. Thank you for letting me do that. I don't think I like warned you beforehand, which is not good protocol. Like, I for sure should have let you know that like that's where my hands were going.
I don't even remember if I was surprised by it or not. All I remember is being like, good choice. Like, that's like all I recall. Well, because I was always, this says something about me, whatever, that I was always like, I was always pushing for us to be more like explicit sort of in a way.
Okay.
Like in my own head, I was like, well, they're this age and like, can't we like get a little bit more sexy with them? Which also as an actor made me very nervous, but as like a person thinking about like having had a girlfriend at that age and like what I was thinking and doing, being like, maybe it should get sexier, you know? Like, so we tried to keep the creators of the show tried to keep it pretty like PG-13, just to like above board, understandable, So like you doing that, I was like, yes.
Besides boasting a stellar starring cast,
I've been waiting on our corner. What's the deal?
Anyone But Me also had a brilliant supporting cast over our 3 seasons, often small roles that played a big part in our storylines.
Why are you showing me your ID? Your college ID?
So that you know I'm a real person, and not because I want to seduce you. I mean, I want to. I'm just not going to.
One guest star was a very recognizable face.
Just for the record, this wasn't my idea.
Well, I could try and win you over, which is a very comfortable place for me to go when I get insecure. But I have that issue pretty well under control, so we can just sit here and wait until you have something you want to talk about.
And the other became very recognizable after playing a part in the breakup of Anyone But Me's super couple.
I don't waste my time on straight girls.
I like that. I like not wasting time.
I think that it was clear based on the reaction from fans and friends and critics and people who picked up the show and were a part of the show that it really affected people, and there was really a place for it. I mean, obviously, particularly in the lesbian community, it felt like it was a much needed piece of art that people really cherished, because there's not a lot of stuff like it. I'm sure there's a lot more now, but I think at the time to see like a realistic, kind of like unusually adult romantic relationship between 2 young women in high school having to deal with all the obstacles and ramifications of that and what that means was pretty unusual and really important.
I'm really far of US, but here in Quebec City, where I live, they don't have tell many stories like that. In fact, it's not hiding, but if they have one story like this, it's like, wow, it's a miracle.
Tell me about what it's like to be you with the fan base that we have. Like you, Rachael, like living your life, but also being this sort of icon.
It's very humbling because on a number of different levels. Number one, I think people tend to think that I had more of a role in creating this show than I ever did. I never did. I didn't write any of it. It's not my idea. Like I just showed up for the audition. So that's one level that it's quite humbling. And the other level is that like I'm not going through the things that my character is going through, And I'm definitely not going through the things that people are coming to me with and telling their stories to me about. Like,
wow.
And so the amount of just courage and fortitude that is required, unfortunately, still in many parts of the world and many parts of the country, to just exist and like be comfortable in your own skin and be able to like hold the hand of the person that you want. That's more than I'm ever going to do. Like their journey is more than I am ever going to do. So the fact that the fact that I was even tangentially a part of it is very.
And when you were cast, what was your did they ever, Susan or Tina, ever say, we chose you because?
No.
No?
No.
So
I think I was just working the cheapest.
Anyone But Me topped off its 3-season run with a 22-minute final episode, which took us back to Battery Park one last time. Do you remember shooting the last scene of that we had together?
Yes.
In the series, almost the series finale, the last full episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good long scene.
It was a good long scene.
Right?
I feel like we had a couple of like very nice sort of intimate scenes, and that was one of them where it was
we did
very like there wasn't a lot of like big emotion, but there was so much history between us,
It was
you know?
like very gentle. It was a lot of like gentle feelings.
Yeah.
Like dealing with stuff very civil.
No, I think gentle is the right word for it. It was. I think there was like a kindness to their relationship.
There was I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Because also there was like they seem like they're kind of different. We're kind of different worlds.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
They would not now necessarily be friends or hanging out in the same group.
I think if Vivian, I'm not sure if Vivian and Sophie, I hope that they would have been friends, like, had they grown up together, but I feel like high school might have, like, crowbarred them apart a little bit more than they ended up.
Yeah, I think it's like two people, it's that, I don't know, there's that feeling like when there are two people who really like each other and connect, but are not part of the same worlds. And so they kind of come together and have these like personal, intimate moments that kind of exist in a vacuum.
But I also think that because they sort of do exist in that vacuum, it's a little bit more like genuine or like fundamental, because it's not like, oh my God, we really love this same movie. It's like this connection on an emotional level.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
And a historical.
Yes. But then, in 2015, we showed up again for the Anyone But Me Lost scenes. These were new scenes written for past episodes, filmed on one simple set with no wardrobe changes.
To have and to hold, and never to lose. To open the door to the rest of our lives.
I love champagne. I love being 23.
Baby, you know what today is? Today is Sunday.
Well, did it really end with the end of season 3? Like, because for me, the last episode, or the last scene of Anyone But Me, is us in the apartment in the lost scenes sharing a glass of champagne.
That's wonderful.
With the keys. Like, that to me is the end of the series, you know? And fittingly so. Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't.
You can disagree.
No, I struggle with that scene. I think it's a wonderful scene, and I want that to be how it ends, but there is a part of me that's like, well, it's like you said, like, if you're in high school together, and then all of a sudden you're 22 or whatever they were supposed to be at the time, and you're living, like, I don't know that is the way to grow, but maybe they spend some time apart, and maybe they, maybe they rubber band. Maybe they
Who knows what happened in college?
Who knows what happened in college?
The lost years.
Yes.
Or the college years. So we don't know. No, and here's the thing is that, like, from a totally objective point of view, I agree with you.
Right.
But in terms of just being like, what's the end of the series?
Oh yeah.
That to me is the
yes.
end
No,
of it.
I think you're right.
I mean, is that the end of their journey or their individual journeys?
Right.
No.
No.
Fan fiction. Pitching that out to you guys. What happens after that? Who knows?
Does it already exist?
Fan fiction?
I
Guys,
know,
if it
like-
doesn't, or if it does, please send it to us. Like, oh my God, I want to read fan fiction so bad of Anyone But Me. But, like, I've thought about that so many times, what happens after that point.
Yeah.
And, like, I know if I have some ideas about what I would do, but
Go on.
Go
on.
I ain't in the driver's seat of this one. This is not my show. I am a mere vessel.
The fans are as engaged now as they were during the run. And like, we've had amazing fans. Like, dude, Gemma was our like original #1 super fan and has become a very close friend of mine. And I think that gave me a little bit of an understanding that like this really means a lot to a lot of people.
When I first started watching Anyone But Me, I didn't expect it to change my life in any way, really. but it did. It gave me a reason to write again. It challenged me in ways I never thought my writing would go. Creating ABM Fans is one of the best things I ever did. It's one of the pieces of work that I'm most proud of. But more than that, ABM gave me a group of friends that I continue to have to this day. It made me part of the community I probably wouldn't be a part of. And those friendships that I have today are some of my most cherished friendships. They help me when they probably don't even realise I need help. They help me keep my mind off things. They give me the silliest reasons to laugh, and times when I don't even realise I'm in a bad mood, I'll see something that will make me laugh. Some silly tweet, some crazy picture, or I will remember something that we did, and then all of a sudden I'm smiling again. They have given me a reason to cross the ocean more than once. They gave me back a city that I had fallen out of love with many times. And yeah, they have given me some of my best memories. They have given me so much that they probably don't even realise, and more than even I realised they ever would. So thank you, ABM. Congratulations on everything you did, and happy anniversary.
Part of Anyone But Me's success was due to the dedication and determination of its producers and crew to make a show they were proud to be a part of. Putting in long hours and often doing multiple jobs, the people behind the scenes are at the heart of Anyone But Me. I sat down with one of the show's producers who lived through many of the show's coldest winter shoots and challenging schedules to talk about his experience on Anyone But Me, and also ask me a question or two 10 years later.
So what does the title Anyone But Me mean to you?
I've been trying to figure that out for 10 years.
Have you?
No. No, I think it's... for me, it always just spoke to like that awkwardness of teenagedom, where it's like, oh my God, I wish that this life were anyone's but mine. I wish that I were in a different skin right now. I wish so many things. Basically, it's that weird tension between like really wanting to accept yourself and be in that, you know, empowered position, and then, oh my God, please just let me fit in, and please just let me be the same as anyone else. And it's that angst.
Yeah.
I always thought that's what it meant.
Yeah, for me, it's always been sort of like, don't point at me. Like, don't put the spotlight on me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Let me blend in.
Oh God, no! Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact.
Yeah, and it's I think that everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
And whether you're gay or not doesn't really matter. But
No.
But that somehow, in a way, amplifies it. I think it did for me.
I think so.
But
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, you can step all over me.
Jump.
So
Talent. What was your most memorable day on production?
I don't think I've forgotten a second of any of it. Like I said, I'd never worked in New York before. I was not a New Yorker. But what really sticks with me the most was getting up bright and early with our one PA, Carey. I don't know how I could not have done the show without him. He would come down from the Bronx on the train at like 3 in the morning.
Rad.
At 3 in the morning. We'd meet to get the vans over at 9th Ave, those horrible vans, and then drive through the snow. I also got to decorate a lot, which was fun. The art department, we didn't really have one, so I got to create that newspaper room.
Oh, I love the newspaper room.
I did too. I loved it. It was so fun to make. It was just like, because we had nothing and had to make it out of nothing. That was at that amazing church in White Plains. That's also the LGBTQ center. I mean, I can't think of a better type of church.
No, it was wonderful.
I grew up in churches. They were nothing like this church. This church was wonderful, and it was massive.
It was.
Didn't look anything like a church.
No.
It looked like a school. Remember all the signage? Because we didn't have lockers. So we had to put up the signs for like the dance or for the football game or whatever it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I remember going to the gymnasium just like with all the art supplies and just making those big signs.
That was so much fun.
So, yeah, but the newspaper room was cool. Because we also made the newspaper. Tina's brother drew that. He drew the comic strip.
I believe he was the cartoonist for like all of the, just anything that you saw that was drawn there. That was
cool.
Also, he was responsible for getting the audition for this show.
He was?
He was, because I was working with him at Barnes & Noble at the time.
Wow.
And he was like,
Tony.
hey, you kind of look like you're a teenager. Come try out for my sister's thing. And I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Well, Rach, working on this show has been a highlight of my career, working with you and this
Ditto.
team.
Ditto.
It's a good show. I'm very proud of it.
It's a good show.
And proud of your work.
Oh, shut up.
Did I think that we would still have fans super engaged 10 years after the show? Yes, 100%. And the same fans, yes, and more fans. And we're still gaining fans because Anyone But Me is a timeless story with characters that you can relate to in all different capacities. So at no point in time did I think that we wouldn't, to this day, 10 years later, still be growing in our fan base.
I'm really proud of the show and proud to be a part of something that was so thoughtful and so female and so unique. I'm also personally proud of a lot of the work that I did in it because it's really not all the time that you get to do stuff that is nuanced and emotional and intimate. And especially looking back on it recently, I'm proud of it and I'm kind of touched by it and I realize how special it was now. I don't know if I did as much at the time. I knew I was having fun and I was happy to have a job and be working, but now I really see how special it was.
Oh, 3 years, brilliant work, so much growth. Well, I from the bottom of my heart, all of you came also on board for this series finale. You just did phenomenally, as if you were with us the entire time. And it's a series wrap for Tina Cease Award. And Susan Miller.
I think everybody involved in this knows that this has changed a lot of people's lives. And I just wanted to thank you guys for reading that email that came in late and asking me to audition because it changed my life. So many ways. I was thinking yesterday about how I have no idea where I would have been without this series. I mean, it shaped everything from the second that I was cast in it. It has shaped my whole life since then. And I could not be more grateful because if this was the last thing I ever did, I would know that I did something right. So, thank you.